Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Newsroom series, where we catch you up to speed with what's happening across the country. Thank you for joining us. I'm Olumide Macaulay. Today, we'll be looking at the Southwest region. However, we'll begin with our top stories. And it's the oil and gas sector, where the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Bayo Ojulari, says the company is making good progress with record oil and gas production levels being recorded. He was speaking after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu in Lagos, where he said he briefed the president on several issues, including attracting investment to the sector. The NNPCL boss also touched on the negative impact of the face-off between Dangote Refinery and Pengasyn and the recent increase in the price of gas.
We recorded about 1.68 million barrels per day of oil production last month, which was very good. That was the first in about 5 years in terms of milestones. We also recorded the highest gas production at about above 7 BCF per day again, which is also the highest in recent times. But what we're also expecting is that with some of the turnaround maintenances that we've done in the month of August and September, all of those are meant to come back this month. And we are hoping that before the end of the year, we should at least be clocking at least 1.8 million barrels per day, all things being equal. I think it was quite unfortunate that the Dangote and Pengasyn issue led to the strike. And as you know, whenever there's strike and critical staff manning critical facilities are not available, it's almost impossible. In this particular case, we actually lost significant production of almost over 200,000 barrels per day of production that was deferred. We also have gas production that was deferred, and power generation also was impacted. About 1.2 megawatts of power was affected by that strike. But I think I'm very pleased that the federal government, through the leadership of the Federal Minister for Labor and also full support from the National Security Advisor, we're able to pull together everyone into a dialogue and bring everybody to the table. And now there's been a communique that has been agreed on the way forward. We're all very hopeful that everyone will abide by those communiques.
The federal government is showing strong commitment to lift Nigerian youth from poverty to prosperity across all fields of human endeavor. Speaking in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, the Federal Ministry of Youth Development introduced the Youth Economic Intervention and De-Radicalization Program, encouraging young people, especially in the Southwest, to take advantage of the initiative to achieve their dreams. Our correspondent, Bukola Arewo, reports.
The federal government is taking deliberate steps to educate and inform young Nigerians about its programs and policies with the goal of empowering them with practical life skills. At a sensitization program in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, the Minister of Youth Development, represented by Mrs. Warren Augusta, explains that the Youth Empowerment Project is unique because it involves strong collaboration with key stakeholders.
I'm going to be partnering with these businesses, these entrepreneurs, to train them in other areas. Apart from the agriculture, we have the creative industry. Like we have people like in the legends of Hollywood, they are partnering with us too. So we're developing talent. We are boosting innovation, and we're also doing diversification.
For the coordinator of the program, Mr. Kennedy Yeri, the initiative reflects the federal government's sincerity and commitment to ensuring transparent processes and timely release of funds to help Nigerian youth thrive.
Our priority is to engage youth in the agricultural sector, agriculture, food, business, food entrepreneurship, and agro-allied. That was why we created what we call Cooperative Youth Farmers and Agro-Allied Entrepreneurs Program.
Some of the stakeholders partnering with the government on the project also commend the effort and express optimism about its long-term impact.
We're very proud that this program is coming at this period, especially the president working closely with civil society organizations to ensure that benefit of democracy gets to the grassroots without any hindrance.
You can be an entrepreneur in your right. You are a citizen of this country, and all the resources of this country should be available to you.
Sensitization programs like these are ongoing across the Southwest and other geopolitical zones, aimed at creating more awareness about government's commitment to youth empowerment, poverty reduction, and de-radicalization efforts nationwide. Bukola Oriwo, Channels Television News.
From reducing poverty to party politics, the All Progressives Congress in Oyo State is uniting its members as preparations intensify ahead of the 2027 general elections. As underground efforts intensify to secure victory for the APC ahead of the polls, the political atmosphere in Oyo State is becoming increasingly active as groups continue to form alliances. As part of this move, the Remi Osheni Committee of Friends and the APC Progressive Group, two major support groups within the party, have formed a new alliance to strengthen the APC structure and strategy.
Seeing is believing. From what we have seen here, we will discover that all leaders of progressive that really mean business, that have been always deliver us in every election, they are here now. And that is the reason why we believe that, look at the numbers of people from all over, 33 local governments, they are here. If you look at any other meeting, there is no one that is as stronger as this one. And that really contains this political substance that can deliver Oyo State in 2027. The stakeholders should ensure that we all come together towards the progress of political development in Oyo State and to ensure that we work together to be able to deliver in the year 2027. And apart from that one, they should try as much as possible not to impose any candidate on us. So with these two groups, formidable groups coming together, I am sure we are in position to move mountain by the grace of God. And I am sure 2027, we will be in position to deliver not less than 1 million votes for President Bola Ahmed in 2027. People have been asking about my aspiration. My aspiration is secondary. When you work for people, you are indirectly working for yourself. So when my father succeeded, I have succeeded.
A governorship aspirant under the APC in Ekiti State this time, Mr. Kayode Ojo, is calling for the immediate release of his loyalists allegedly detained unlawfully by the State Police Command. Speaking with journalists in Ado Ekiti, represented by his consultant team lead, Olukayode Oluyemo, accused Governor Abiodun Oyebanji of removing over 2,000 allegedly genuine party members from the APC register to prevent his supporters from voting in the upcoming primary election.
The Engineer Kayode Ojo Campaign Organization expresses deep concern over the continued orchestrated arrest, prosecution, and detention of our supporters. We strongly condemn the sustained attacks on our members, campaign agents, and property, which appear to be coordinated by agents of government in connivance with elements within the security agencies and sections of the judiciary. Reports available to us show that several supporters of Engineer Kayode Ojo have been arrested on fabricated charges, detained unlawfully, and subjected to intimidation and harassment. Recently, a video surfaced showing one Shola Duro Dola, an appointee of Governor Oyebanji, threatening to kill Engineer Kayode Ojo if he visits Ekiti State. All these incidents have been duly reported to the police, yet no action has been taken. This development constitutes a direct assault on democratic rights and a grave violation of both the Nigerian Constitution and the All Progressive Congress Constitution.
In response, the Commissioner for Information, Taiwo Olatubosun, dismissed the claims as baseless advising Mr. Ojo's camp to address any issues with security agencies directly instead of linking the state government to them. Away from party politics to infrastructure, and in Ogun State this time, the Commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Mrs. Remilekun Omalade Ekundayo, is calling for stronger collaboration among security agencies, residents and communities to protect the nation's critical infrastructure. The NSCDC chief insists that safeguarding vital national assets require a collective sense of responsibility and teamwork to prevent vandalism and ensure sustainable development. Speaking at a one-day stakeholders meeting held at the NSCDC headquarters in Abeokuta, Mrs. Ekundayo adds that national assets such as roads, telecommunications, railways, airports and transformers and streetlights are essential for Nigeria's growth.
Agencies in Ogun State must work as a team, not in isolation. A coordinated network ensures all security agencies and NSCDC share information and plan together. Reporting of CNAI infraction to NSCDC within 24 hours. Timely reporting is very important. The 24-hour window ensures NSCDC reacts while evidence is fresh and suspects are traceable. Delayed reporting weakens response and prosecution. Establish Ogun State Sinai Security Task. A dedicated task team focused only on CNAI protection will drive consistency. This team will handle planning, monitoring, and emergency response specifically for critical assets. And regular review meetings. Security threats change over time. Regular reviews allow stakeholders to update strategies, learn from incidents, and close security gaps.
Also in Ogun State, but this time to agriculture, where the Ogun State government is boosting household nutrition and farmers' livelihood through its special agro-industrial processing zones program. The Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security says the initiative is part of a sustainable agribusiness plan aimed at strengthening agro-industrialization in the state.
The Ogun State government is improving family nutrition and farmers' income through the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones program. Over 4,000 home gardening toolkits have been distributed to women across the state to support household food production and improve livelihoods. The Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Bolu Owotomo, says the initiative is part of a long-term agribusiness plan to promote agro-industrialization in Ogun State.
4 local governments will be benefiting, which Odogolu happens to be one of them. As earlier said, these gardening tools are tailored for small spaces. That is, they are tailored for our environment, maybe our backyard or our front yard in our homes. However, this program is not stopping at that. We are also providing input for you to cultivate on your farms.
Beneficiaries trained under the program also receive improved seedlings and other inputs to help them start and sustain home gardens.
I appreciate them a lot about the inputs because we benefit we benefit out of the inputs. So we appreciate them about the inputs and we will use it very well. They will not regret that they give us the inputs.
The chairman of Odogbolu Local Government Area, Babatunde Dia, commends the state government and its development partners for supporting rural women and farmers.
And what I find most interesting is the fact that they're targeting nursing mothers. And we all know mothers in the homes are the ones that decide the meals that are going to be put on the table. And nursing mothers in particular, so those that are pregnant and those that have just given birth.
The program, initiated by the federal government in partnership with IFAD, the African Development Bank, the Islamic Development Bank, and the Ogun State government, aims to tackle food insecurity and improve nutrition through community-based resilient food systems.
Environment and the public health safety in the southwest region of Nigeria is when we come back on Newsroom series. We have a guest, an expert who will be speaking with us in the studio, giving us some more information on that subject. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching the Newsroom series. The Lagos State government has asked Lagos residents to create a culture of cleanliness and eradicate plastic waste in the state. Now, this is according to the General Manager of the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, Mr. Babatunde Ajayi, who made the comment at the 2025 Inter-School Environmental Competition. Mr. Ajayi emphasized the crucial role of young people in shaping a sustainable future through innovation and environmental stewardship.
Senior Grammar School.
Students from public and private secondary schools converge on Alausa Ikeja for the 2025 Inter-School Environmental Competition, organized by the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency and its partners to identify students that will drive the change needed to achieve a cleaner environment in Lagos.
About 5 years ago, a secondary school student, besides the public school students, died as a result of plastic pollution due to flooding.
The competition, called Project 2.0, showcased the ingenuity of students who have ideas that could offer solutions to the growing challenge of plastic pollution.
When the environment is littered with plastic waste, it gets carried away by winds and rain to drainage.
Plastic pollution poses danger to everyone, and the Lagos State government says collaborative efforts are highly needed to tackle the menace.
We say Project Solve because it's not just about the event today, it is actually a project. This year's edition, we're saying towards a future with zero plastic pollution. So that's what we're working towards.
Because if the environment is bad, nobody can stay there. If there's pollution beyond human threshold, people will start jumping. And we don't want that in our hands. So that's why we are asking that people have to be intentional. We have to be able to do these things and do it as if, no, my life depends on it. It's not about government telling you to do these things. They are asking for self-regulation.
LASEPA says the competition is aimed at making students environmental advocates across the state.
This is an amazing one. We're excited about it. We see the value in driving our messages to the students and through them to their parents. So we think that these kinds of things should continue. Other NGOs and institutions should follow suit. People should be more involved in environmental preservation and conservation.
The talented students from 10 different schools also had the opportunity to present their products made with plastic waste, among others. At the end of the competition, Okera Senior Grammar School emerged overall winner, receiving 500,000 naira in cash prize to support its sustainability project and recommits itself to building a cleaner, greener, and more sustainable Lagos.
Now to the environment. Pest management remains a major challenge to protecting the environment and public health, especially in the southwest region of Nigeria as in other areas. But experts say poor waste disposal, unregulated pesticide use, and weak enforcement of environmental laws continue to worsen the problem. In many communities, the rise in pest-related diseases such as malaria, typhoid, and cholera highlights the urgent need for effective control measures. Residents also face health risks from excessive use of chemical pesticides, which pollute the air, the water, and the soil. Environmental health officers are calling for stronger public awareness, better sanitation practices, and modern pest control methods that are safe for both the people and the environment. They say collective efforts from the governments, the private sector, and communities is key to achieving sustainable pest management in the region. Now we're joined on Newsroom series for environmental protection discussion. The pest management expert and CEO of Rotimax Integrated Services Limited, Dr. Tolu Caleb, live in our studio. It's good to have you on Newsroom series today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you, sir.
Let's begin with the obvious question.
Right.
What are the major challenges of pest management in protecting public health and the environments in the Southwest region?
All right. So before we go into that question, before we go into answer that question, we need to do a very brief explanation about what is pest management.
Because, you may. Go
ahead.
I
will do that.
Right.
Pest management is widely wrongly speculated as fumigation in Nigeria or in Africa. So as I'm speaking to you here, you're telling me what is the role of pest management, but let me say 98% of our audience will think that we're talking about fumigation.
So we get the definition of pest management wrong most of the time. That's what you're saying.
We get the definition of fumigation wrong. We usually always hint so much on fumigation, which is actually wrong. You know, if you, as a novice, is calling a pest management expert, you're telling he or she that, can you come to my facility to, offer a fumigation service? And pest management is a profession. Pest management is the holistic approach into anything that has to do with controlling of pests. Fumigation is just one of different processes engaged by professionals. So that's why we have to, do a little.
But it's still pests, right?
Yes.
Whether in industrial areas
exactly.
or
so in most cases, you might not even need to engage fumigation processes in controlling pests. Okay. So we need to let our audience know that pest management is a holistic, generic, not as widely speculated as, I want to fumigate. In most cases, you don't probably need fumigation.
Okay. So how does that apply to your experience in the Southwest region?
Well, in the Southwest region, as you have mentioned, what are the challenges? The top of the list is extreme low awareness and pest education. In the Western countries, we have pest management as something that they take so serious. What I mean that you go to an higher institution of learning for 5 years to study, the process of pest management. But here we only have maybe vocational centers. Recently, we have some higher institutions coming up. But for years, there's no emphasis on seeing that as a profession. So it has actually, affected the projection, how even the society see pest management as a means of not just maintaining safe environment and also a means of livelihood. Are you getting my point? Mm-hmm. So now, pest management, like I mentioned, is anything that has to do with the process of making sure that you control infestation of pests in either homes, offices, or in public areas.
Let me ask you about that specifically now. Where do you get the most business? Is it in homes, in where people are living, or in places of business?
No, in places of business, because there's an act of parliament in the year 2002 that mandates public facilities to make sure that this is done on a minimum of quarterly basis, which is every 3 months. But for private homes, there's no law. There's no act of parliament, there's no law that guides them. So they choose to do this at their own convenience. They might not do this in 3 years, 4 years, but if you have, a commercial facility, the law mandates that in every quarter, you must have a professional come, and at least do the justice to your facility to make sure that you don't have pest infestation.
It's interesting you mentioned that it's not seen as a vocation here as opposed to other countries, because it should be very lucrative. What about pest control for farms?
Yeah, it is very lucrative. In the agricultural area, it has to do with food security, because the moment you have so much of pest infestation in a farm area, it leads to economic losses. And at the same time, it looks to the possibility of food contamination. So it's a big deal in the agricultural area. But in this climate, everything that has to do with enforcement, or maybe it has to do with government policies. It's government policies that drives, things like this in our climate. Ordinarily, people might not really see any need, sometimes because they want to make profits or because they don't see an importance in doing this. But the moment there's a consistent, that's why I started with the first issues of public health, pest management is extreme low awareness and, in fact, zero pest education. Recently, we took it upon ourselves to go to secondary schools to educate, the pupils about what is pest management and what is the importance of pest management. My own son, jokingly, sometimes I joke with him that, do you see yourself growing up to become a pest management expert, towing the line of your dad? And he said, no, I don't want. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. It's not seen as a profession that he can be proud of. It has to do with education and awareness.
It's very interesting because I was watching a documentary recently about how pests were affecting vast swathes of farmland in other countries. And, they invade the crops, and then they're a scourge, even if it's locusts. And I see that is something that. But finally, how does poor waste disposal contribute to pest infestation?
Poor waste disposal is a major contributory reason why we have a lot of pest infestation. First of all, the waste site is the easiest and the most convenient breeding ground. So when you have a waste site, just like in your homes, you have a waste site that is not regularly evacuated. You see rodents, rats, mice, and the rest around there. You see flies, you see mosquito. So one of the major contributory fact about the waste site is that it's a breeding ground. Two, it's an easy access of groundwater contamination. When you have waste site, it leads to contaminating of in fact, air pollution. It actually also pollutes the air. Like in the standard, the normal standard is that you have what you call sand filling, land filling practices, which is at every day that you go there to dispose your waste, there is a layer of sand that is used to cover your waste. But in Lagos State, which is like the forefront of everything that has to be innovative, we only have Olusoso and Igondo, and they are land filling site, but they don't really practice land filling, because you go there, you see heaps of waste. Every time you pass around, you can smell it, you can see it. That is not really the land filling process of waste management. So
we hope that that is paid attention to.
Yeah, exactly.
And we just have to leave it there. We wish we had more time to continue to discuss pest control in the Southwest with you. The CEO, Rotimax Integrated Services Limited, Dr. Tolu Caleb. Thank you for joining us on Newsroom Series.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And that's where we leave it on the program today. Thank you for watching. I'm Olumide Macaulay. See you again.